everyone, Jennifer here, back with another edition of TV Talk. It's Friday, and that means it's My Little Pony Day. And this week's episode was The End of Flutter Valley, Part 1. Several of the ponies and their bushwoolly friends traveled to Flutter Valley to join their new friends, the Flutter ponies, in a celebration of the sun. Meanwhile, at the volcano of Gloom, Hydia and her daughters, Rika and Drago, plot to destroy Flutter Valley as revenge against the Flutter ponies for helping to beat the Smooth. Okay, things I liked about this episode. I basically liked everything about this episode. This episode was the very first one that takes place after the first My Little Pony movie. And granted, this is the last time this episode and the 5 that follow it, as this was a 10-part episode with 2 parts per episode, as the original was supposed to be like 2 15-minute little stories, but it was mostly just like 2 parts of a 2-part story, or of a multiple chapter story. This one is this episode, not necessarily this one, but the end of Flutter Valley is really the last time we see the witches. They do not pop up, to my knowledge, in any of the other episodes. They're not even alluded to in any of the other episodes. This really kind of gives us that closure on them, but that doesn't happen till like part 10, I believe. So this is really, it should be part 1 and 2, but I'm condensing it down to the actual episode number, and so it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. But just note that there are 2 per episode. We are not really introduced to any new characters in this one, but I will mention some differences between this episode and the movie. In this episode, Hydia talks with the family members who are paintings, but they don't really communicate with her in words that we understand. They more like whisper, which was very different from in the movie, where they didn't communicate with her at all. She didn't talk to them. But we do see the characters in the paintings kind of interact with the daughters. And again, like, the Smooth is mentioned in this episode, but it's not really, we don't know what happened to it. Because we're seeing a view of the volcano of Gloom, and we don't see the Smooth anywhere in there. So, you know, what happened to it after there? I mean, there are a few questions that really aren't answered. But, other than that, it was a really great episode. It is a 5 or 10-parter, however you want to look at it. Like I said, really good because it jumps into the whole, we see Flutter Valley again. We don't see quite as many of the Flutter ponies. Where in the movie there was a lot of them. We only see like a few. We see Rose Dust and Morning Glory, and maybe 3 or 4 other ponies, or Flutter ponies, but that's about it. We are introduced to a couple of new characters that are exclusive to this 5-part arc, or 10-part arc, whatever you want to call it. And that is, I think her name is Bumble, and her bees. They're all bees, but they're like human-sized anamorphic bees. And we're introduced to Buzz and Sting, who are 2 of her bees. We see some of the other bees, but they don't really have names. And we are introduced to the Bushwoolly's cousins, the Furbobs, who are... They look like dogs to me, and they kind of remind me of these characters from this movie my sister and I used to watch called Flappy Dogs, or Fluffy Dogs. They kind of remind me a little bit of the Fluffy Dogs, just in their general overall look. And they are, as I stated, the Bush Woolies cousins, but they're like the opposites of the Bush Woolies, where the Bush Woolies agree with each other on everything. The Furbobs really don't. And we're also introduced to the Stonebacks, which are like giant armadillo-like creatures that are kind of the enemies of the Furbobs. And the Furbobs, and particularly the Stonebacks, will become important later on in the series. Or not the series, but this arc. So we will talk more about them later. Okay, things I didn't like about this episode. There really wasn't a lot I didn't like about this episode. Granted, we don't see a lot of the ponies, but we're not going to see every single pony in every single episode. In this episode, we really only see Cupcake, Fizzy, Buttons, Galaxy, one of the baby ponies whose name escapes me, and Surprise. At least I think it's Surprise. I know we see one of the Pegasus, but I can't remember which one it is. I believe it's Surprise, though. We also see Spike. Spike is in this episode. And we will see Megan. She just doesn't come in yet. I think she comes in like part... I think she'll either come in the episodes that are covered in the next video or the video following that. So we only really see a small group of ponies, but again, we only will in every episode, so that really doesn't bother me all that much. We saw more in the movie, but there was more time to see more of them, and they were introducing more of these standard ponies that we were going to interact with. Okay, feel free to leave your comments and questions in the comment section. I do love to read those. Please like and share this video if you're watching on Facebook, or like and subscribe if you haven't already, if you're watching on YouTube. And feel free to follow me on Wattpad, Instagram, Twitter, and Tumblr. I do have my name for those 4 sites right there on the screen, as well as the pictures I use for the icons. Please note that all pictures seen within this video do belong to their respected artists. I own absolutely nothing. And the link for the 4 sites I mentioned will be in the description section if you have any problems finding me on those sites. Okay, quick reminder on my comment rules. Okay, feel free to check out my related My Little Pony videos. Oh, and I forgot to put it on there, but also movie talk on My Little Ponies, the movie. My other My Little Pony videos. My other TV talk videos. And my other videos. Okay, before we sign off, a few things I'd like to touch on. First off, YouTube subscribers. Any of my videos that are not on Facebook or not on YouTube are on my Facebook page. The link is in the description section. Facebook friends. Basically the same deal. Any videos that are not on my Facebook page are on my YouTube channel. The link will be in the description section. And for anyone who's interested, you can check out my group on Facebook, Fanfic Corner. The link for that will be in the description section as well. I would also like to apologize for not posting a video last week. Unfortunately, I was a little busy. Finally, DreamWorks Dragons will be coming to an end in March, and that means that there will be an opening for a new TV Talk series on Sunday, and that also means that you guys get to vote and tell me what show you would like me to do a video on. Your choices are Horseland, Outlaw Star, Dot Hack Sign, and Inuyasha. Voting is very, very simple. All you have to do is write down a positive comment and or like or love a positive comment on one of the 4 shows listed, and whichever one is gets the most votes is the one I'll do a video on. Or a series of videos on, excuse me. Please keep in mind that negative comments and dislikes do not count as votes. And yes, if Inuyasha is selected and I can find it, I will do a series on the sequel once I'm done with Inuyasha. Voting will be until the 5th of March, but if I do need to push this date back again, I will let you know. You may vote as many times as you wish, but please keep in mind that in the event of a tie or no votes, I do have the final say. So far, the votes stand at 1 vote for Horseland, but you have about 3.5 months left, so be sure to get your votes in and make your voices known. Okay, as always, thank you for watching, and have a very nice day.